This night's a little bit different because this night kind of starts out as a nice night out with the bros, right? Just several of us guys, me and like five of my buddies, all hanging out, and we start out watching a Wizards game, right? So, we'd gotten some seats, kind of got a deal on the group seats or whatever, all went out there to watch the game. Now, afterwards, the plan was to go out and kind of bar hop to check out a couple of different places, right? As the night goes on, the number of people drops as some people have other things to do, right? And that's cool. And that's also kind of the point that I'm going to get to, right? But I'm going to skip ahead to the very end of the night, right? At the very end of the night, there's three of us left, right? So started with six, down to three. And one of the three guys says to me, man, we should have done this differently because if we had done this differently, we would have had more success with the women tonight, right? They would have been into us and it would have been easy to make connections and stuff like that, right? And what this said to me was kind of two things, right? One, it showed what his goal was, right? That he was out to make connections with women, right? And I'm not begrudging that. I'm not putting that down. I'm not saying that that's a bad goal. But what I know is that some of the other people who went out, their goal was to hang out with these guys, hang out with the bros and have a good night out, right? And the folks who had that as their goal achieved their goal, had a good night out. And, obviously with him and saying this statement, his goal wasn't achieved in the way that he wanted, right? Which gets me to the second, and I feel like kind of bigger or even more salient point for you and kind of your future. And that is that when I heard him say we should have done this, what that indicated to me was a bit of regret, right? Not we could have done this, right? I feel like if it was we could have done that, then it would have been seen as more of an experiment. Hey, we did this time, maybe next time we could have done something different, or I could do something different, and maybe if I did do something different, it would have a different result, right? But when it was we should have done this, that it was like a bit of regret in there, right? And that on top of the other part about it being kind of his goal to connect with women and that not happening showed me that because he didn't reach his goal, there was a little bit of disappointment, right? A sense of things could have gone better, right? Or maybe I should say should have gone better. But you get the point, I'm sure. So, this is a nuanced point, but I feel like it's really important, particularly if you're hoping to get a high level of success, right? To get a high level of success, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and there are parts of it that are going to feel a bit like a grind, right? The key to getting through that grind easily is to not have it feel like as much of a grind, right? To have it feel like something enjoyable, something beneficial, something good, something that makes you have good emotions, that makes you feel good, right? And the goal is related to those feelings, right? Because he had a certain goal and did not reach that goal, he then felt a little bit of regret, right? Whereas if his goal had been different, he would not have felt that same regret. And when you don't have these same negative feelings, right? When you feel more positive about what you're doing and about your nights out, then you are more encouraged to keep going out. And because you keep going out, you will end up getting a higher degree of success in the long term, right? So we all want to achieve great things with our life, right? We all want to live up to our potential. However, if you set your goal too big to where you aren't reaching that goal and you then become disappointed because you didn't reach your goal, then your long-term success is being compromised, right? You are putting yourself in a negative emotional state because you didn't reach your goal, And this negative emotional state is going to drain a little bit of your energy, your motivation, your enjoyment. And that drain is going to make things much harder for you in the long term. So, what can you do about this, right? Hopefully you see that you can change your goals, right? And it doesn't mean that you change your goals so that you're not working towards what you ultimately want, right? If this guy ultimately wants to go out and connect with different women, great. But bite size the goal, right? Make it smaller, make it something to where you can easily achieve that anytime you go out. And then everything after you've achieved that goal, that easy goal, so to speak, is then an added bonus, right? It's icing on top of the cake and, the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake, to use the expression, right? So don't have a goal so big that you're not going to reach it and then become disappointed when you don't reach it if you know that you are doing something very hard, very challenging, right? Instead, set smaller goals along the way, goals that you can certainly achieve those goals, and then push yourself to do more after you have achieved the goal, right? So maybe a goal, instead of, going out and connecting with different women and, maybe taking one home or having a date that comes because of it, maybe the smaller goal is to say hello to a woman that you're interested in, or give her a compliment, or whatever else, but something that you can certainly achieve, and then you can build on after that, right? Because you don't want to be having this mental attack, this mental self sabotage that ends up pulling you away, that ends up sapping your energy, that ends up sapping your view of yourself, right? Because that's also what's wrapped up in this, is a bit of self esteem. Okay. And if you know you're setting these goals and not reaching them, that will have an effect on your self esteem. So instead of, having this drain on your energy, your self esteem, your motivation, your desire to go out and work towards these long term goals, set yourself up for success, right? That is the big lesson here. You can enjoy any night out, but when you have a goal attached to that, then not reaching that goal can lead to you beating yourself up because of it, right? Avoid that whole situation by either setting a smaller goal or by doing the work to where even if you don't reach your goal, you still love yourself all the same. You still know that you're working towards the goal. You still know that you're trusting the process. You're still going out. But in my opinion, the first path is much easier than the second one. So, all in all, make sure that you're staying upbeat, staying positive, and continuing to work towards what you really want. I love you guys. I'll see you out there.